Hey guys, I'm Kristen. I help students plan their high school extracurriculars and courses and also guide them through the college application process. Welcome to Campus Conversations with College Lead, where I interview current students and recent graduates of different colleges to give you perspective of what their experience was like. So today we have a very special guest, Hannah. She is a recent graduate from Harvard and grew up in China, actually. So Hannah, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kristen. It's really my pleasure to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah. My Chinese name is Shen He. So I grew up in Shanghai, just graduated from Harvard last year, studied government with a language citation in Japanese back in college. So I was born and raised in China, attended all public schools, attended Shanghai Foreign Language School for middle school and high school, and applied from Shanghai, got admitted in 2015 to Harvard.
That is amazing. So I don't know anything about what it's like going to high school in China. So could you tell me about what the education system is like there and maybe anything special you had to do to prepare to go to college in the US?
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, because I attended a local public school, the curriculum is very different from how it's structured in the US. That being said, I did attend I'm biased maybe, the best schools in Shanghai. We're specialized in foreign language, so there is more support, I think, courses in English and more international kind of exchange opportunities. But overall, for the curriculum itself, it's very centered around the Chinese college entrance exam. So very STEM focused, and then like you don't get trained on like critical reading or and English language writing to the same level as SAT reading would require.
You mentioned that high school in China at least leads up to their own sort of version of the college entrance exam. But since you were planning to go to school in the US, what tests did you have to prepare and take in order to go through that process?
Yeah, so besides like finishing everything for the school exams, I have to prepare for everything on my own, including so everything that you need to take as a US applicant: SAT, SAT2, subject test, advanced placement. What else? So I think those are the main ones that you need to take. And on top of that, for international applicants, you just need to take TOEFL. But I think if you are well prepared for the SAT, TOEFL is a very easy test in comparison. Yeah,
I'm sure.
I think I calculated, I took in total 10 different tests, from TOEFL to SAT, subject tests, APs, etc. So I think the hard part is you can't take the SAT main test in mainland China. So I had to fly to, like Hong Kong, Singapore, or Korea to take the test. Yeah.
What extracurriculars did you do in high school, out of curiosity?
Yeah, so I was very passionate, and I still am, about like media and journalism. So I started, participating in like youth journalism ever since junior high. And in high school, I was the editor-in-chief for a school newspaper. And also with one thing led to another, I was able to be selected as one of the 15 youth journalists for the Youth Olympics for Nanjing. So that year I represented CCTV5, the sports channel, for the national sports channel, and interviewed athletes and stuff in Nanjing. That was really cool. It was very hot that summer, but it was a great experience. So that's one thing. Like I said, I studied government for college. Like policy has always been a passion of mine. So I also led the Model UN in my college, in my high school. And let's see what else. I did a whole bunch of other things. And one other main effort I think that I made in high school is more on the side of education gender equality. So I did more of a sociological research on to understand how students' learning motivations change based on the education resources, both within school and in their family, varies by different cities. And we had a research paper published and turned that into more of a peer mentoring project later on after I got admitted to college. So that's something that I've been doing from the 11th grade all the way till like the first, second year of college. Yeah, it's like a two parallel universe. And then yeah, from 8 a.m. to maybe 4 p.m. your time belongs to school, and then you attend some other prep classes, or like you just go home and start like studying advanced AP on your own. So me and my friends, we all studied AP just by ourselves. The school didn't really offer any of those.
Oh, wow. Wait, so how did you study for the AP exams then? Did that correlate with what you were learning in high school at the time, or did you just do it completely on your own?
I think it's marginally related to what I was learning. That you just have to buy, some prep books and study on your own. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. I can't imagine being able to just prepare for a test on top of everything else I had to do in high school.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's like taking crash courses all the time.
I can imagine. Oh man, that's crazy. So I guess fast forwarding a little bit then, you are filling out the Common App or writing your college applications. What advice do you have for other international students, maybe from China or elsewhere in Asia, who are interested in US colleges?
So I think first of all, I would say treat college application as an inward searching process. This is a good time for you to reflect on what you're really passionate about, like things that are true, very important to your core identities. And even if not everything may be tied to like what you're studying in the future, but I think college application, your personal statement is a place where you really want to tell people your core values, who you are. And I'm not just saying it because it's cliche. I think that's like over time, I wrote probably 20 different versions of 3 different PS stories. And the ones that finally like really resonated with myself and then just with my parents when they read it are the ones that are very, very almost shows a certain level of vulnerability and authenticity. So I think that's the core of what you should think about in terms of college application. It's not just something bragging your resume, trying to impress others. What college is looking for, what they're really trying to understand is what truly motivates you. What are the things, what wakes you up every morning. So I think I definitely emphasis on those stories, identities, academic interest, extracurricular interests in my essays. So that's on a higher level. I think in terms of the tactics and timeline, definitely plan early. So I was able to wrap up a lot of the test taking by 11th grade. So that's why I had the liberty to participate in the whole Youth Olympics program for the entire summer before 12th grade, which is when a lot of people are still taking their SATs, etc. So definitely plan early. I had this whole kind of Gantt chart prepared since I think 10th grade till I can just lay out all the different tests, because especially if you're in China or elsewhere where the AP tests are not part of your curriculum, or like IB, all these test taking takes time, and you can't take a lot of them at the same time. So you have to just parse it out ahead of time. So that's more on the technical side. Plan ahead, try to wrap all the test taking early, so that you will have a whole summer and early the fall semester of your 12th grade to really reflect on what are some of the stories, experiences that are truly meaningful to you.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great advice. Even if you're in high school in the US, try to plan ahead too. There's just a lot you have to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Common App isn't built in a day.
It isn't. It really isn't. There's so much that goes into it. So now let's fast forward. You have a ton of acceptance letters from different colleges. Which colleges are you deciding between or among at the end, and why did you choose Harvard?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate to get accepted to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton at the time. I chose Harvard over the other two. Primarily, I think there are two factors. One, Harvard has a great grad school program, like with the Kennedy School and law school and all that. So that is what I think Harvard excels compared to Princeton. And in terms of location, Boston is a better location than New Haven, as we all know. Didn't know it was that cold, but didn't get accepted to Stanford. So yeah, Boston is great. It's a city. And also in terms of the alumni network, just for international students, I know I already know a lot of Harvard alumni throughout like different extracurriculars that I was doing in high school. And these are truly the people that inspire me. I'm sure there are a lot of great Yale alumni and Princeton alumni out there, but in terms of the presence in China, I think Harvard definitely has a big presence. And in case like, I go back to China for work, I think that's also something you would want to consider in the long run. Yeah.
Now tell me about campus life. What was it like at Harvard? Because now you're in a completely different country. Obviously, you've been in the US before, but now you're actually going to be you're embedded in the college system, living on campus for more than just 1 year now. What was that transition like?
Mm-hmm. So I think overall the transition for me was relatively smooth. I consider myself to be someone relatively like adaptable to different environments, relatively flexible. So I didn't have like major homesick, but I would say looking back, freshman year was very overwhelming. I think for everyone, it's a lot to adjust. It's the first time that you get just thrown to it's such a big crowd of people and then like live with them 24/7. So there's really not much time, I think, like kind of a me time for me to reflect on some of my behaviors, where like what are other people doing, kind of having more of a time for independent thinking. So I definitely was very impressed by kind of the level of diversity of the students, and there are many peers that really inspired me. Living with 4 roommates freshman year, and then moving forward, there are a lot of things that you learn about people of different backgrounds, culturally, socioeconomically, and I think that overall the campus life experience is one that taught me to be more empathetic of other people's views, even if you don't agree with them, to kind of see where they're coming from, and also develop a better skills in terms of how to handle different levels of interpersonal relations. Sometimes I think overall I try to avoid conflicts, but there are also times that that you need to withdraw yourself from certain scenarios that you don't agree with. So I think definitely matured more emotionally through the campus life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, same. I learned so much from going to college.
Yeah. The complexity of humans, and I think because before you go to Harvard or go to any great colleges, you look at all these students, you're like, oh my god, they're so put together. And then especially in China, I feel like I definitely revered these Harvard students that I met in high school, almost put them on a pedestal. But then once you live on campus, you see kind of the different sides of people. I think that's actually better to understand that people are talented, but they're also you get to know them on a more personal level. Yeah.
This is one question I forgot to ask earlier, but just going back to high school quickly, what advice do you have for other international students on how to differentiate yourself to stand out and impress college admission officers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think with that question, I would say don't try to impress college officers or try to guess what they really like. I definitely at one point fell into that mindset too, but then you realize, okay, now I'm just, when you're trying to guess what college admission wants, everyone else is probably guessing the same thing, so you ended up not really standing out. Really, I think if you have certain interests, I've also I know my friends and helped some the younger students from my school, I reviewed people's college application. Truly, everyone has an edge. Hold on to that. Don't just because everyone is doing Model UN or everyone is doing a certain activity doesn't mean that you have to. If you're interested in doing it, go for it. So I guess the advice is don't try to guess what the college admission officer wants, but instead really hold on to your edge. I've seen many different applications from my friends, people who apply to college. Really, everyone has a different background, different interests, different personality. Maybe it's something of your family that like really inspired you to be interested in this like very unique culture, or like your living, like where you were born, or like your upbringings really shaped you. So show the uniqueness of yourself, and instead of trying to guess what's kind of the current trend that the college is looking for. When I was applying, I think a lot of people were doing Model UN because someone got into a good university because of Model UN maybe 5 years ahead of me. But by the time that it became a trend, it also became a little bit generic. So I'm not saying don't do Model UN or don't do debating, whatever. Do the thing that like you feel like you're most good at. So I think that would be my advice to international students, because like the competition is very, very fierce. And we're always trying to come up with the most impressive package. Some people may want to go to really, really exotic places to do things. Totally up to you. But like at the end of the day, it's about, I think, how genuine, how credible your story is, rather than what are some of the craziest thing that you've done. One lesson that I learned from college, or just like one belief that I have up until today, is don't be too opportunistic when you're doing things. Do it because you really believe in it, because you feel some passion about this cause, or just this project, and then later on things work out the way it is, because everything that you do is coherent, because there is a core value that ties everything together.
Mm-hmm. Man, I wish you had been my college counselor when I was back in high school. So what are you up to now then? And where do you hope to see yourself, I guess, beyond?
Throughout the process of trying out different internships in college, and made me think about like why, like how do I want to take the most advantage of at the early stage of my career, and what are kind of the personality, like how I can best use my strengths and personalities in a professional setting. So that's why instead of choosing to go back to Asia for a more so traditional professional career, I'm now working at a startup in the Bay Area. It's a very early stage Series A startup, so it's a lot of hustling and just adapting to different changes and pivoting of the company as it goes. But I definitely think it's the right decision for me to kind of both further develop a lot of professional skills, and also think about how I can unleash the kind of entrepreneurial spirits that I have in the future, maybe starting something of my own. So I think this is a great learning experience and growing experience for me to develop these professional skills, and also at the same time being in a very vibrant entrepreneurial environment, the Bay Area, to find out something that I truly want to work on in the future.
So now that we're getting towards the end of the interview, I know you just shared a ton of advice, but are there any sort of last words you want to leave with our viewers?
So if you're watching Kristen's video, this is the first step towards a successful college application. I did also read a whole bunch of different, tutorials, like advices from other people, and I would say definitely talk to the ones who've been through the process. Talk to the people that from your dream school, both the students who are currently studying there and also the alumni, and then you will get a sense of like what are the schools that you belong to, like who are the people that you aspire, like your role models that you aspire to be. So definitely be prepared, both in terms of understanding what it means to to go abroad for college, which is a huge decision for many people, and a huge financial decision if you don't get a generous financial aid package from schools like Harvard or Yale. So understand what you're getting yourself into, and also take it easy. Treat this as a time where you really get to tell your story about what's important to you more than anything, and things will work out in the end.
So lovely. Thank you so much, Hannah, for your time and also for all the great advice you share. And to any viewers who have made it this far, if you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you again, Hannah.
Okay, thank you.